your choice is all up to you. Too many things don't know what to do. Speak your mind and you won't get judged. If it kicks off, you won't hold no grudges. What? Come online, come online. CSI, CSI. Come online. CSI, CSI. Yeah, your choice is all up to you. Too many things don't know what.
Welcome to Common Society Issue platform. I'm Pat, and with me is IVI. Today, we will be covering the topic of
the importance of dealing with limiting beliefs in terms of mental resilience, personal development, the power of having a vision, even dropping from college, and there you still have a possibility of achieving whatever you put your mind into it. So today, welcome Tayem to the platform of CSI, and thanks for having us here today.
Thank you, pleasure to be here.
So please, can you tell us a little bit about who Tayem is?
Yeah, so a bit about myself. I'm 28 years old. I'm originally from Congo, and we moved here when I was 8 years old, so I'm predominantly Irish. I've grown up here since I was 8, so everything I know is practically Irish. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a motivational speaker, as I classify myself. A lot of people say personal development coach and different things, but I'd say motivational speaker because where I come from, I need a lot of motivation to get me where I am, and I also then, in return, push that back onto other people. I have a career in sales, and I also work on a couple of other businesses on the side, which are my own personal businesses. So that's a little bit about me.
All right. So as a diaspora coming to Ireland,
Yeah.
so how has Ireland helped you in your journey?
It's helped me in a lot of ways. The basic ways you look at education, but the best way I've benefited from Ireland is in terms of integration and learning from the different cultures. When I came here from Congo, it's predominantly everybody's Congolese. And I moved here quite young, but when we moved here, a lot of my friends were Irish. I'm integrating with Nigerian people of different countries. So it's given me a lot of opportunities, a lot of security. With education was one, but it's a route that I didn't necessarily pursue fully. But in terms of entrepreneurship and learning different things, a lot of what I know, I learned it from the likes of Irish people who have successful businesses and things like that. So it's opened up a lot of opportunities for me, being quite honest.
and how has the pandemic impacted you about your mental health?
Yeah, heavily in the first couple of months, because prior to the pandemic happening, I was struggling a bit with my own mental health. I was going to counseling, I was getting counseling just over underlying issues that I didn't deal with growing up. I think what people don't understand is when you come from somewhere like Africa and you make a transition, it does have an effect on you. You don't realize it, but deep inside it has an effect. Just that detachment from your home country, it can play a factor. And then other elements of me growing up that I just bottled away, and I used it as sort of motivation, I used it as anger, came up because during the pandemic, it gave me a lot more time to be by myself. And a lot of the insecurity, the uncertainty that's going on in the world impacted me in a negative way because I'm somebody who likes my freedom. I think all of us like our freedom, and it was taken away just like that.
That's true, that's true.
Exactly, and you change to a new way of living. It almost felt like I was in prison at some stages of it, and I didn't enjoy it at all. So it impacted me negatively, but it's a part of life that you have to adjust and transition and persevere through those tough times. Fortunately for me, I've got a good support system in my family and friends that I could lean on them, but I had to take a bit of a break from a lot of the things I was doing just to work on myself during the pandemic. And I think a lot of people too that might not talk about it have been affected. A lot of young people that I coach have been affected by the pandemic in a negative way.
Okay. So in terms of, as you say, in the negative way, as you said, when we were growing up, did you think, how was growing up in Ireland, perceiving this, how Ireland is in terms of growing up in Africa, and how did it impact you here? The way of growing, there's two different ways, different dynamics. And then you growing up as a Congolese in the middle of here in Ireland. So how did that happen for you?
Growing up here, when you're growing up as a kid, it was quite fun because as a kid, you don't pay attention to a lot of things. So, but when I got to the age of like 16, 17, that's when the reality hit me of life, making a decision on what you're going to do in college, about your future. And like a lot of young people, I didn't know what I wanted to do. and I was confused about a lot of it. I went to college for 1 year and I dropped out. And then I went back 2 years later and I done financial accounting for 2 years. I enjoyed it, but it still wasn't what I wanted to do. I just done it because it's what my parents would have wanted me to do. So then I dropped out of that as well. And there was a period where I was confused as a young man. I didn't know what it meant to be a man because of how I felt as a kid. Just from a lot of the changes, leaving my home country, coming here, but then changes in family situations, home circumstances, finances, put me in a position where I was heavily depressed when I turned 18. Just a lot of life changes happened very quickly for me. And so I was confused, and that confusion led me to, I'd say, on the brink of suicide. Just because we grow up in a perspective, in a persona that as a man, you have to be strong, you have to be tough, you have to be all of these things. And growing up as a kid, the worst place to be, I think, is when you don't know how you feel. And that's how I felt. I didn't know how I felt. I didn't know what to do. I was confused just overall. I knew I had to do something with life, but I didn't know what it was. So there was a couple of nights, and I've spoken about this on my social media as well. There was 3 nights in particular that I ended up at a Houston station, standing over the bridge, and I was probably, I'd say, 2 steps away from jumping over that bridge as a young man, just because I was confused about life, and I didn't have people to guide me at the time because everybody was going through their own things. We had a lot of things going on, so it was a bit tough. It was, that period in my life was tough, but other periods it was good because I got to grow up in a country that gave me opportunities, that, you know, I had friends, I got to network with different people, I was playing sports, so that kept me entertained and things like that. But it's just that period of growing up and having to realize, now I have to become a man, now I have to go and do certain things. And when you don't know exactly what it means to be a man, you know, what I seen as being a man was what social media and TV tells you, and, you know, a man is tough, strong, you don't cry, you don't feel these things. So when I'm feeling those things, it was like, wow, I'm broken, like there's something wrong with me. And yeah, I contemplated not being present as a solution, as a lot of young people do. Unfortunately, I didn't carry on with it.
So when you went that bridge, as you said, what was the turning point? Can you explain? Because some people may want to know, because, you know, some people are in that verge.
Yeah.
So what kept you back?
My mother and my brother. And God, I would say, because I kept thinking about them and how they would be after it, like the impacts that it would have on my mother especially. And my brother, I have quite a close relationship. I love my brother to death, and it was one of those situations where I just kept seeing his image in my mind, how he would be impacted. And I'd say a voice, like I'm very spiritual, so God kept me in it to show me that there's more down the line for me. And I just had to keep and maintain that belief. It wasn't easy, but it was just a voice in the back of my head that I needed to hear at the time. And it showed up right on time.
And do you feel like you were carrying a load? You know, the way as an African descent, we carry loads. You know, you have to think about the family, the tradition, being brought over to Ireland, everything that you have to cater back for people back in Congo. So do you feel pressurized or with a weight? Yeah,
I did then, but see, the pressure that I was feeling wasn't from things that I was aware of. I was feeling the pressure of society. I was feeling the pressure of what it means to be a man. And also my mum was going through difficult times then, financially and things like that. So I was thinking about her and what can I do? And the fact that I felt helpless and I couldn't do anything didn't help me much. And I felt that way. As I've grown up, those other loads, I do feel it a lot more now. I feel a lot more pressure in terms of being able to provide for people, in terms of being able to create different things and to be successful so that you can help your family and you can help other people. But that does play a factor, but at the same time, I'm a little bit more aware that it's not necessarily my responsibility to go and save the entire world. I can only impact the things that I can impact. So that's what when you grow up, I've started to realize that more. And so it is pressure, yes, but it's a good pressure at a certain time if you know exactly what you want. It's not our job to save the world.
If you don't mind, if I can ask you,
Yeah.
what are your core beliefs in terms of personal developments, especially for youth in these current times?
For young people, especially, every single one of them is powerful. For me, every single person is powerful. Every single person can be incredibly successful. It doesn't matter where you are or where you want to get to. Nobody knows exactly your capabilities. And it's just a shame that we live in a world that doesn't teach us often about our capabilities. So my core beliefs would be that we're powerful beyond measure. I believe every single person has greatness in them. Every person has goodness in them. You might not manifest it, but it doesn't mean that it's not there. I believe we're powerful beyond measure, and it's just time and focusing on your dreams is the key element. So for me, one of the biggest values is I want to create a lifestyle that I'm happy with, and it's possible. Anybody can create the type of life that they want, and that's the way I go about it now. It's hard work, but the road that is hard leads to the most rewards. So we just have to work hard. You go through tough times. Tough times are natural parts of life that make you stronger. And for young people, we have to understand that when I'm going through a tough period, you know, the world in general, there's this law, it's one of the laws of the universe, and it's like every single person has a light in them, and they're going to get challenges throughout life to strengthen that light in them. So if you don't have the challenges, you don't become strong. And for young people, that when you're going through depression, you're going through mentally challenging times, it's important to understand that you're getting tested because you're that strong. It's the only reason the test is there, and if you don't give up, you come out on top. It's easier said than done, because I was at that point where it's like, jump over the bridge, but you don't do it, and then you realize, and it's a very sad place to be. It's really, really sad, and it's an emotionally draining place, and it's a scary place to be at. But my core belief is that everybody has gifts in them. Everybody can be incredible. Everybody is special, and it's not a cliche. It's absolutely fact. Every single young person I speak to is unique in their own way. But when you compare yourself to other people, you lose your uniqueness, and that's what we do now as young people.
It's very good that you manage that, and I'm so pleased and I'm so proud of you, because not so many people could manage that time and exactly that situation what you have been through. If you don't mind, if I can a little bit jump to different topic, which means as a serial entrepreneur and personal development coach, what tips can you give to maintain financially sanity post-COVID-19?
It depends. Some people, so it varies. It depends on a person's situation. One of the things I've realized through the pandemic is that a lot of people created new businesses. A lot of young entrepreneurs that I speak to create new businesses. So if you want to maintain that financial aspect, you have to learn the skills that make money. You have to learn financially valued skills, marketing, sales, find a product that's good and learn how to market it, learn how to sell it. Every single company that I've worked for, every company out there, they have a product and then they have a market. The marketing sells the product. Anybody can do it. You can start by selling water today, branded your own water. You just need to learn marketing skills. Once you learn how to market effectively, social media is the best marketing platform right now. Facebook is absolutely incredible. Instagram is doing incredible, and influencers and things like that. So you have to learn financially valued skills. A lot of people, and I've been speaking to different people, upskilling yourself is very important. Be in your career. If you lost your job, upskill yourself and find a better job. Upskill yourself, get in areas that pay more and areas that have security. Sales, tech, customer service is always going to be needed. And if you're a business owner, you have to change your business. If it was previously physical, maybe you should consider online, because that's where everybody's at. And you have to have a product that people can see on their phone all the time. An example is we're in a studio right now, but the marketing is what gets clients in the door of this studio. And the marketing is predominantly done on social media. Blake can correct me if I'm wrong. Is done on Instagram, because that's where everybody's at. That's where everybody's looking right now. So what you need to do is just get your product in front of the consumer. Find a way to get it on their phone where they're looking all the time. And innovation, like, think of different ideas. A business doesn't have to be the biggest thing in the world, or any idea that you want to create to make money. It can be something small. It can be something you like. I like speaking, so I was thinking, how can I turn my speaking into something that'll make revenue, or why don't I do online programs, online courses, take it where people are, do the coaching programs there. But it's not easy. It's a tough journey for anybody who undertakes, but you have to be consistently wanting and looking for new ways to make money. It's different to tell people, yeah, you can create a business, but it's important for somebody to go out and research, how can I generate more income? And it might not be in a business, it could be in your career. But if we ask those questions long enough and we do a bit of research, you'll find answers. Fortunately, some people don't ask the questions and they don't do the research. They just take what they're given. You can't take what you're given in any situation of life. You have to seek what you want and find ways to get it.
That's right.
Okay, and as you growing up in Ireland here, and can you walk us through the journey for young entrepreneurs, how you started? Because some people, they may want to start and they don't know how to start. And since you have been through depression and people may be struggling as well with depression, how can they be able to engineer their depression into doing something useful like you did yourself, as we can see?
See, my journey growing up here, it was a little bit different, because when I got into entrepreneurship, I was 21 when I got my first job. And I was actually walking out of my job and I bumped into a friend of mine who then was involved in network marketing. And then I started to network with him and I started to learn different things. So I went out and I was proactive. I was networking with different people. I used to contact people that I see on Facebook that I know that look like they're doing well, and even people that I don't know who just have their own business. I would DM them, I'd contact them. I've got football managers that own businesses and I proactively called them, and I wanted to know, how did they get into positions they got to? Some of them will tell me, I just worked very, very hard when I was young. Some of them will tell me, well, I started a business like this, I done X, Y, and Z. I was proactive, and there wasn't, unfortunately, as much information back then. So that's why for me, in a position that I got to, when I launched my personal development programs, is to take the skills that I didn't have then and provide it to those that don't have it now. The information that I used to go and seek, and I'd contact 15 different people to get it, I now have that information and I package it in a way that people can now have access to that. So, and now it's far easier with technology and everything to become an entrepreneur and even start your first business and make a few sales. I've got young entrepreneurs that are selling clothes online. One of the guys that takes my coaching program, he sells clothes online. I've got some other ones that sell drinks, they sell cocktails, they sell food, cook food, and they promote it themselves. So there's different ways. But growing up for me, I had to knock on a lot of doors and ask people for their time, because there wasn't the resources then. And I used to look around, and for me it was like, who do I want to be like? I look around the people, I'd look at my circle, and I was like, well, none of us seem to be getting anywhere. So I need to start networking and find people that are getting somewhere so that I can learn from them. I was always eager and curious, and there's an element, it's a story I tell people all the time. I went to an international convention at one stage, and it was like a huge stadium and a lot of people going up there, very successful, when I was in network marketing. And they were all getting praises and things like that. And I was getting jealous. And this is one thing a lot of people don't admit. I was getting so jealous to the point I was getting pissed off that I'm clapping for other people's success. And I'm like, when is going to be my turn? And that type of energy, some people can transcend that in a negative way. I used it in a positive way to go home and then learn from those people who were on that stage, look them up on the internet, find out what they were doing. And it's like, I want to get to that level as well. So I changed that type of negative energy into a positive. And that's what we have to do a lot of the time. Is you transform the negative energy. You're going through depression, you're going through tough periods. Transform that energy into a positive. And those moments, this is the thing I always talk about when it comes to mental health. Those moments don't just disappear. You're going to have them later on down the line. Last year, I lost 2 friends suddenly who passed away, unfortunately, through COVID. And probably the most painful experience, one last year, one this year, most painful experience of my life. And I'm still dealing with that. But I have to use that energy in a different way. And that energy is what pushed me to create personal development programs. Because a couple of months before my friend passed away, he called me and he was like, look, we need to do something. We were talking about launching programs, so we need to do it because we don't have that much time left. And it's unfortunate that he did pass away. But we deal with those periods all the time. So in your journey as an entrepreneur, in your journey as wanting to be successful, it's not going to be smooth. There's going to be bumpy roads and you're going to have to overcome a lot of things. It's just one of the rewards that you get for overcoming tough periods is more tough periods to overcome, unfortunately. But That would be my sort of tip and advice when it comes to the financial side. But I always reiterate, it's important that it's not just all about money, it's about you as a person and how your mindset operates and the type of resiliency that you have. And that resiliency comes from tough periods. You don't get it from the good periods, you get it from the tough periods, and you have to march through it. For young people, I keep encouraging them, like, I know you've probably been strong, but you have to be stronger.
Definitely. How has your routine changed from before to now, as a, from where you were dealing with depression, and now that you're an entrepreneur? So how has your routine changed?
Yeah, the routine changes.
So for the youths to know as well.
The routine changes dramatically. You have to stay on top of things. But one of the most important routines, I always say to people, is your morning routine. The morning routine is the most important thing you can possibly have. Like the first 20 minutes that you wake up, what you listen to, what you see, what you read is going to impact your mind the strongest. If it's negative, you're going to have a negative day. If it's positive, there's a high chance your day is going to be positive. If it's constructive, high chance you'll remain constructive. And then it's about, now I balance a lot of different things. So it's time management. You have to have a schedule. On this day I have this, on that day I have that. And sometimes you miss out on certain things. Sometimes the schedule goes upside down and you have to abandon it in the day and it's a new plan. But you try again. Every single day you try again. So yeah, it is definitely a lot more time consuming, but you have to find ways to make time for yourself also, which I'm guilty of. I don't do as much and I need to. I was only speaking to somebody yesterday and they were telling me that. But you have to find breaks in between. It can't be all work, because you have to have a personal life, you have to have a family life, you have to have a balance between work and play. So that's a little bit about the routine.
Okay. So if you don't mind to tell us, what is your next step in with engaging with the community?
Yeah. My next step is to offer more opportunities to the community. Be to young people, be to older people. I want to create jobs, proper jobs that people can go in and they'll have a proper salary. They'll learn skills. The most important thing I've always wanted is to teach people skills that can help them change their lives, that can help them feed their family for generations to come. For the young people, if the young people are the future of this country, if we equip them with the right visions, the right skills, they'll go and do amazing things down the line. Because just as I was a young person once at one stage, and I just learned certain skills that's helping me to grow. But my biggest dream is to make an impact in this world in a major way and change a lot of people's lives and impact people in a positive way. So we're working hard, got a good team on board, working hard on what's the best way we can make those changes and equip people with financially valued skills, personal life skills that young people are struggling to get right now. Through education, through a lot of different ways, through social media, they're failing to get all of these things. So those are the goals, and I've got certain businesses that I want to develop and help them to grow. But the biggest goal that will give me the most amount of satisfaction is that impacting this country in a positive way, impacting this country in a way that's never been impacted before, that people have resources, incredible resources available for young people, for older people. They have information that they don't have in terms of how can I progress from where I am to where I need to get to, and understanding that journey as well. It's a tough task, but that's the ultimate goal for me. That's the goal that makes me wake up every single morning. So the next steps is just keep working on that, find a way to get there a little bit quicker.
I believe you that it's a tough journey, it's a long journey.
Yeah.
If you don't mind to share and tell us about what are the main lessons people can take from your experience.
Yeah. The main lessons people can take from my experience is you don't need to be special to make an impact. You don't need, your talents can come out at different stages. So when you're failing early in life, it means nothing. Like you can fail 25 years of your life and still turn it around in the next 25 to 30, 40, 50, 60. When I started off in school, I wasn't the smartest kid in school. I used to daydream a lot. There were certain classes that I enjoyed and there were certain classes that I didn't. So when it came time to exams, I was an average student. When I went to college, I done a little bit better, but still I was an average student. But all of those exams does not reflect the talents and the skills that I had in me. At the age of 22, 23, when I started to develop my own personal talents and understanding who I am as a person, what I'm good at, it wasn't the academic route, it was a different route, but I had to keep searching. So for people who are watching me on social media or are going to watch this, Keep searching, keep looking for different ways, keep looking for things that make you better, and pursue your passion. I pursued my passion over profits, over career. And I was in a position where I had two options. You stay in college, you get a degree, you get a decent paying job, you're guaranteed that every single year your salary might increase. But I dropped that. I didn't chase security, I chased my passion. Back then I wanted to play football, I wanted to be successful, so I started entrepreneurship. I started different businesses that failed miserably. There was periods where I'd invest 10, 15 grand and it's gone the next day and it's not coming back. And all of that, it was experiences. I would pay for experience every single time, because that's what helps you grow as a person, is the experiences that you learn. People can take away your money, they can take away your lifestyle, they can take away all of that, but they can't take away the experiences you have. And that's ultimately what would help you rebuild your life, your fortunes, all of that. So anybody watching this, like if you're going through tough times, struggling with depression, keep fighting on. Seek support, and this is an important thing. I sought support. Now I have a great support system. I've got friends that I can call late at night, 2 o'clock. I'm struggling. I've got, you know what I mean? I'm having bad days. Have that support, but at the same time, build inner strength. Like, you've been strong, but you have to keep going. You have to be stronger, and chase passion. Chase the things that are valuable, not security. Not security. I'd love to say I chase security or I want security, but I know it's not real. The security is the things that you do, the things that you pursue that are meaningful to you. I just wish, and I wish more people lived from here rather than here. I try my best to live from here as often as I can, because when you do, life is it's better. There's more color to life, and it opens up more doors for you in every area that you want. I really wish people would stop giving up on their dreams, no matter what the circumstances is, and just pursue from here. So that would be my biggest advice to anybody watching this, that they can take something from me, is live from your heart, not from your mind. Sometimes you can live from your mind.
Definitely, you touched into something that is really very important these days, because a lot of youths now are struggling here in Ireland, as you know. So that will be really important to know exactly what steps are you really going to take in towards that aspect for them.
Yeah.
Because you are a personal development coach,
Yeah.
but how can you get in there?
Yeah.
Because there's a struggle at the moment, as you know,
Yeah.
and in the African demographic,
Yeah.
it's very difficult to bridge into.
Absolutely.
So I know that you are very proficiency with the other part of the stream, that is the Irish part, but what about the African part? Because they're already dealing with a lot of suicidal issues, and then you have been through depression. How do you feel like you can bring value to a lot of organizations that are around there?
I've come to the point where, because I've been in a lot of meetings with different people, and I've been in a lot of meetings that the governments are talking about, and they're failing completely, because you have to understand these young people and you have to relate to them. As a young person, for me, when I was going through things, I was looking for people who looked like me, who were in my situation, and nobody could relate to me. So telling my story on programs like this, we've got a campaign that I'm going to be launching pretty soon, and I'm working in the background. Social media is the best way. As I said at the start, you have to get where they're at. It's right in front of them, it's on the phone to them. It's about telling a story that's impactful and catching their attention. I coach a lot of young people, and I reach out to a lot of young people in our community. Kids from Blanche, kids from Tala, kids from Lucan that I'd see in the newspapers for the wrong reasons, kids that will post certain things on social media for the wrong reasons, and I'd speak to them and advise them on the right road to take and to avoid certain decisions that's going to handicap them from the future and completely impair them in terms of jobs, different opportunities. But we're working on it, and that's what I mentioned earlier, that we want to make a huge change. It's not only just for the Irish community. And one thing I realize is the problems that we're facing, the Irish community face also, in just a different form. But a lot of our problems are related. A lot of the things that these young men and women are going through are related. That's why I launched the personal development programs. That's why I invested in getting over 20 courses that teach financially valued skills. And I'm offering it to a lot of the young people that sign up for my programs for free. I'm giving them 4 or 5 courses for free to learn the skills, because that's what's going to help them make more money. That's what they're pursuing right now. A lot of them is they're coming from broken homes. There's no revenue. Kids right now are in competition for money, which I still can't understand why at a young age you need money for, not to the amounts that they're aspiring for. So I've created those things, and now we've got a marketing team. I've got a couple of meetings lined up. to get a proper marketing program going on social media, investing on some heavy campaigns so that we can reach more of these kids that way. And also I contact them on a one-to-one basis as well, but also they need to see it from a professional entity that represents them, that represents their struggles, that represents the problems that they're facing. And I don't want to rely on other organizations. I don't want to rely on governments because they failed me for a long time. And I've been in plenty meetings where it's meeting after meeting after meeting. There's nothing getting done. The young kids are still in the same problems and the conversation is not relative to them. They're not included in the conversations at all. And so that's the best way that I'm working on it right now, to try and make an impact. And when it's ready, I'm very confident we will change things for the right way.
So, if you don't mind, what's the final advice you can share to the audience?
The final advice is, a big part of it, I think I'll relate it to the last question I was asked. When you see something wrong in the world, don't walk away from it. Don't walk blindly and say it's not my problem. Because a lot of the young people that are suffering in our communities, in society, is because a lot of people say it's not my problem, it's not my kid, it's not my situation. And for young people, it's important to make something of yourself. You have to make something of yourself that you would be proud of, that your family will be proud of, and that society will be proud of, because you're a part of that. Doesn't matter how you feel about not being represented or not being given opportunities. You create your own opportunities. You go and seek it. There's plenty of opportunities out there. Going down the wrong roads is not an opportunity. That's like, it's cheating the way I classify it. You're cheating yourself out of your own race in life, and you shouldn't do that. Follow the hard road. There's always going to be two roads in life. There's an easy one and there's a hard one. If you go down the hard road, life will become easy. If you go down the easy road, life becomes hard instantly. It becomes harder and it becomes shorter. But the other path will make life longer and a lot more fulfilling long term. So pursue the right road. It's a tough one that pays the best. The easy one is it rewards quick short term, long term, no rewards.
That's amazing advice. I don't think I can say better, to be honest with you. How can people get in touch with you today?
Yeah, people can get in touch with me on social media. I'm on Instagram, so if they look up Tayem MERCER, I think I'm the only Tayem MERCER on Instagram. They'll find me on Instagram. I'm pretty active on Instagram. My email, info@tayemmercer.com. They can go to my website, www.tayemmercer.com. All of my programs are on the website, so they can contact me directly through the website. Give me a contact on Instagram. I consult people on that. I'm on LinkedIn as well, Tayem MERCER, Facebook, Tayem MERCER. All social media platforms. It's under Tayem MERCER. If they search, they can get in touch with me.
So I understand everywhere they can find you. It's no problem to find Tayem.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
So thank you very much, Diane, for coming here to the platform today and inspiring us with the young youth with your stories. We are really delighted with what you are doing and everything. And we hope seeing you very soon and everything that you will be impacting more further to the communities.
Definitely.
So
Thank
you very much. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming today. This is IVI from CSI, Common Society Issues. Follow us on our social media. And if you have any stories that you feel like you can share, or you have somebody else that needs to share, or have something interesting to share with us, or is struggling from something, or you feel that whatever you have been through, you can be able to empower another person, please feel free to come here to the platform and empower others and help save lives. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Helen.
Hey, I'm Candy.
Hi, I'm Michael.
Hi, I'm Ivy.
And this is Lucia. Thank you for watching CSI.
Make sure to subscribe to
CSI, Common Society Issues.
And remember to hit that notification bell.
Thank you.